They were Mr. and Mrs. Country Music, and by the end, their marriage had become a living hell. Here's the inside story of Tammy Wynette and George Jones. One of the most all-time well-known couples in popular music were country singers Tammy Wynette and George Jones. Already established musicians in their own right, Jones and Wynette married in 1969, and together they went on to produce many of the biggest hits in country music history all throughout the 70s, including The Ceremony, Two-Story House, Near You, and many others. Nothing that either musician had accomplished prior to their relationship matched the level of success they found as a couple, and the bus they toured in even had the words Mr. and Mrs. Country Music written on the side. George Jones and Tammy Wynette had already been married and divorced when they first met, and Wynette, in fact, was still married to her second husband. The attraction between the two musicians was undeniable, however, and they soon married, after Wynette got her divorce. Together, they made some of their best songs, as George Jones revealed in a 2019 documentary. When the couple was on stage, we were in our own little heaven. Like many country songs, though, the George Jones and Tammy Wynette story ends tragically.
And the next ex-wife of mine, my favorite, in fact. Let's make welcome, if you will, once again, Miss Tammy Wynette.
In truth, their marriage was really never as happy as it might have seemed from the outside. Jones drank heavily, and their time together was rocky to say the least, separating, reconciling, and then eventually getting a divorce in 1975. Jones was upset about the dissolution of the marriage, and so he let Wynette have everything in the divorce. Even if Tammy Wynette and George Jones couldn't make it work in their personal life, they had enough of a connection to let the best of their feelings shine through music. Music was how they bonded at the beginning of their relationship, and it likely kept them together as long as it did. They collaborated so well professionally, in fact, that they even alternated who got top billing at a particular venue while on the road, depending on where they played and who would attract more of a crowd. Some of Wynette and Jones's most emotional tracks are basically confessionals about their love for each other, at least in the earlier days of their relationship. Within their first 2 years of marriage, they released their self-referential album, We Go Together, a record that captured the honeymoon phase of their lives like lightning in a bottle. Aside from the album's self-titled track, highlights include the duet The Ceremony, which is practically a word-for-word transcription of Wynette and Jones's marriage vows. Even though Wynette and Jones had their fair share of marital problems, it wasn't exactly easy for them to separate either. After their marriage fell apart, Wynette claimed to have felt lost and lonely. She dated Burt Reynolds for a while, married and divorced a real estate executive, and then got married for the fifth time in 1978 to songwriter George Ritchie. Nevertheless, the final days of her and Jones's marriage had been particularly brutal. Jones not only dove deeper into his drinking habit, but acquired a cocaine habit as well, and wound up missing so many shows that he earned the nickname No-Show. At that point, without their musical bond, there was little left to hold Wynette and Jones together. One bright spot to the story, though, is that after the divorce, Wynette and Jones continued working together on occasion, and the couple got along better apart than they ever did while married. Jones later said, "I think we still love each other. I know I love her." Mr. and Mrs. Country Music continued to tour together after divorcing, and they even released new songs. In 1980, Wynette said, "Everyone needs more than one chance." Wynette died unexpectedly in 1998 at the age of 55 from a blood clot. Jones lived on and died from respiratory failure in 2013 at the age of 81.